The mountains and hills that rise above many communities on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, provide more than just stunning views. In many cases, we find sparkling rivers and alpine lakes, which provide a plentiful supply of world-class drinking water to residents of the local community. Sometimes the quality of our water supply is taken for granted. In other parts of the country, cities require costly purification plants to turn polluted rivers into acceptable drinking water. But many Vancouver Island watersheds offer an abundant amount of clean, fresh water. Historically, many sources of drinking water on the island came directly from the local watershed to people's taps, and because the sources are so clean, it required little to no treatment. In November 2007, Island Health introduced new drinking water treatment guidelines aimed at ensuring consistent minimum standards for all surface water supply systems on Vancouver Island. As a result, many communities were required to filter the drinking water supply and have built treatment systems in the past 10 years. Please don't mistake the treatment systems as indicators of worsening water quality, but rather a raising of the bar for water quality standards. Treatment systems on Vancouver Island are different, depending on the chemistry of the water in each area, as well as the needs of each community. In all cases, local communities must meet or exceed current legislated standards. Water purveyors from each community test water regularly to ensure everyone's drinking water is clean and safe for consumption. Some drinking water sources on Vancouver Island are lakes and rivers that are nestled within forested lands owned by Island Timberlands and Timber West and managed by Mosaic Forest Management. Mosaic Forest Management maintains good working relationships with community water purveyors, and they collaborate to ensure that drinking water in the areas is kept at an extremely high standard. Roles of the water purveyor and Mosaic. Within each watershed on Mosaic lands, the community water purveyor, usually staff employed by a local government, oversees what might be a network of dams, reservoirs, and pumping stations, while Mosaic ensures security of the watershed and provides road access and management. Mosaic also prevents and responds to forest fires and monitors overall watershed conditions with drinking water in mind. In some watersheds, land access is provided to essential personnel and authorized individuals only. There may be regular security and gates in place to limit unauthorized access. Such strict security can be valuable in protecting the health and well-being of community residents, as any form of environmental damage inside a drinking watershed could impact the water supply. Hazardous materials deposited in these seemingly remote locations could find their way into the source of our drinking water. Drinking watershed access requirements. If work-related duties require you to seek admission to a drinking watershed, watershed training must be completed. Mosaic staff and contractors are required to watch this video prior to working in a drinking watershed. Where drinking watersheds are closed to public recreational access, for example, Jump Lake, Holland Lake, or Langley Lake, recreational users with temporary permissions will be directed to watch the video, complete a quiz, and obtain a permit card. Contact your Mosaic supervisor if you're unsure of where drinking watersheds exist on Mosaic lands. Personal health and use of toilet facilities. Your personal health is extremely important because water contamination through human waste is a serious threat to the water supply. 1 gram of human waste contains several million microorganisms, potentially carrying diseases such as Giardia, Salmonella, Shigella, cholera, and typhoid. People can carry bacteria, viruses, and parasites without becoming ill themselves, but can cause illness in others by the transmission of microorganisms through water. Within a drinking watershed, sanitary facilities may be made available. In these watersheds, toilet regulations are strictly enforced, and you are personally responsible for using facilities provided. Remember, the permit will get you into the watershed, but failure to follow regulations could be cause for discipline. Garbage and waste. All garbage must be removed from watersheds to ensure no hazardous materials end up in creeks and rivers and sources of drinking water. Follow best practices for working and recreating in backcountry areas and pack out what you pack in. If you discover illegally dumped garbage while in the watershed, pack it out yourself or promptly report it to a Mosaic representative for scheduled cleanup. Do not burn garbage in a drinking watershed. Recreation and camping. Each drinking watershed has different recreational access permissions, depending on the drinking water source and treatment facilities that the water purveyor uses. Be sure to follow Mosaic's rules for recreational access, and do not camp or have campfires outside of designated and authorized campgrounds. Do not conduct target practice. If recreational access is permitted, be extra cautious about activities that could introduce materials into water sources. Forest fires. Your personal hygiene and recreational decision-making is only a small part in protecting the watershed. Forest fires are a particular risk to water quality, and the majority of forest fires are a result of human activity. A severely burned hillside can lead to increased soil erosion and sedimentation in rivers, which makes water treatment more challenging and more costly. As a result, watershed access during extreme fire hazard is highly limited, and smoking in the watershed is restricted to roads and landings with the expectation that you take care of your cigarette butts responsibly. Fuel handling. Fuel handling is a matter of particular concern. Recreational users must not bring fuel into drinking watersheds, and industrial users must follow Mosaic's fuel management and hazmat standard. The key to remember in a drinking watershed is that spillage needs to be prevented, and if not, it must be promptly and properly contained and cleaned up. Furthermore, you must follow Mosaic's spill reporting protocols, and best practice is to report all spills in a drinking watershed, no matter the size, to your Mosaic supervisor. As the rain washes any pollutants directly into the water supply, traffic accidents and chemical spills on watershed lands could have devastating effects. And spilled oil contains heavy metal such as lead, while gasoline contains toxic substances such as benzene. Always handle fuel with caution. Summary. Whatever your job assignment or activity in a drinking watershed, be aware that procedures inside a drinking watershed may differ substantially from procedures elsewhere. Ask questions and ensure you know the expectations from a Mosaic supervisor. Please pay attention to all signage and follow the instructions. Non-compliance may result in discipline. A drinking watershed is a unique, vital place that demands special care, and it's everyone's responsibility to keep it and the people who drink its water safe. No matter how far you may be from town, your actions can impact those downstream. What you do here can work its way here. Together, we can protect and preserve our critical water resources.